Hello everybody, Frozen here, and today is Sunday, so I'm bringing you another epic deck profile, and as you can see today I'm doing Gem-Knights, kind of an underdog deck, but they got some new OCG support, and they can churn out a lot of cool stuff. Now guys, before I start this video, just like to remind you to leave a like down below if you enjoy this video. It only takes 1.1 seconds, and I really appreciate if you do that. So let's get on to the video. Now, if you didn't know, Gem-Knights are a deck that revolve around creating a bunch of crazy fusion monsters and also a normal / Gemini sort of way. So basically, one thing about this deck is there are different versions of Gem-Knights, and I'm not playing the Gemini version. There are no Gemini monsters in this deck. I think it's a bit too slow for me. So I am playing a turbo-ish version of the deck that can do a lot more OTKs than the Gemini version, which is more effect reliant. So let's get onto this deck profile. First off, we got 2 Garnet. It's a normal monster that can be brought out with Rabbit, and you can make Citrine, Ruby, and a bunch of other stuff with it. Next, we got 3 Gem-Knight Tourmaline. So another normal monster. This one's Thunder, so you can bring out Topaz, Prismaura, and a bunch of other cards. And lastly, we got 2 Gem-Knight Lapis. So you can bring out Lapis Lazuli and Zirconia. So now for the effect monsters. For the non-gem related cards, I suppose, we have 2 Denkou Sekka. Since the bane of this deck is Speller Trap cards, I just think this card is super good, especially since you don't run any trap cards. So that's why this is in here. We got 3 Gem-Armadillo. This card is basically a Stratos of the deck, and yeah, it's just super good. Next, we have 1 Perfomage Tricklown, and this is kind of a weird addition since it's not a Gem-Knight after all, but when it's sent to the graveyard, so basically if you fusion with it, you can special summon it, but change its attack and defense to 0. And then you take 1,000 damage. So basically you get a free level 4 when you fusion summon. It's just really good. A lot of people run 2 of these, especially in the OCG. Actually, only in the OCG. It's only out in the OCG. But whatever, but yeah, a lot of people run 2 of these, but I think 2 gets a little bit cloggy. You can run 2 if you want, but 1 has been working best for me. Next up, we have Rescue Rabbit. If you don't run this card, you're a fool, because it's amazing with any normal deck at all. Okay. Next, we have 3 Gem-Knight Obsidian. You can create crazy loops with this. So, when it's sent from your hand to the graveyard, so basically if you fusion with it, you can target 1 level 4 or lower normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So that gives you, like, things for Lady Brilliant Diamonds effects. You can fuse with it. It just gives you a lot more options. Next up, for one of the new OCG cards we have Crystal Rose. This card is really good. So basically, you can send 1 Gem-Knight or Melodious monster, which is kind of weird, because I don't know how the 2 archetypes go together. I'm going to search up Melodious real quick, because I've never really heard of them. Apparently I can't spell, though, because reasons. Yeah, I can't spell. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay, I see. So yeah, it works with these cards too, but I like it for the Gem-Knights. Sorry, I'm probably just gonna cut that part out. You know what? I'm lazy. I'm sorry for getting so distracted. I swear I have ADHD. Back onto the deck profile, we have Crystal Rose. Basically, you can dump a Gem-Knight from your deck, so Foolish Burial right there. And you can make it that card's name, so you can bring out hard-to-get monsters like Lapis Lazuli, Ruby, and Topaz. Also, you can banish 1 fusion monster from your graveyard, cough, cough, Noden, cough, cough, and then special summon it in defense position. So yeah, it's really good. For our last Gem-Knight monster, we have 3 Gem-Knight Lazuli, because this card is basically like Obsidian, except it adds it to your hand instead of special summoning it. And also, if you dump this from the deck, instead of just like dumping it from the hand, it works too, because Obsidian only works when it's discarded from the hand. This card works when it's discarded, period. Okay, next up for our spells, we have 3 An Unexpected Guy. if you control no monsters, special summon one level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck. Just helps you get out these cards that you need. We have 3 Gem-Knight Fusion. Oh my god, this card is amazingly amazing. Wow. But, so it's basically polymerization for the Gem-Knights. But the trick is you can banish one Gem-Knight monster from your graveyard to add it to your hand. And this effect is not limited to once per turn, so if you have enough material, you can just keep going off with this card. So that's why a lot of people run 2. You can sub it out for something else, but I found that 3 has worked the best for me. Next up, we got 3 Instant Fusion, Noden, don't need to explain. 3 Absorb Fusion, this is the second card with the OCG support we got. It's basically a free search for any Gem-Knight monster, and then you get the fusion summon with it. And you don't have to fusion with it. You can just, like, search for a card, and life is super good for you. So yeah, it's super good. It's a searcher and a polymerization. I love it. We got 2 MST because, as I said before, along with the Denkou Sekka, this deck hates back row. You need these 2, probably even 3, but hey, what can you do? Next, I run 1 Burial from a Different Dimension. I play this just because in long games, you're going to end up decking out, and you're going to need some cards in your graveyard. And a lot of effects banish cards, from Crystal Rose to... No, I can't think of any off the top of my head because I suck. Gem-Knight Fusion. And it just helps you reload your graveyard. And lastly, for the 3rd OCG card that we have, Brilliant Fusion. I love this. It's a great mid-game to late game, but it can work pretty well early game too if you have a good hand. So basically you can fusion summon 1 Gem-Knight Fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your deck as fusion materials, but change its attack and defense to 0. So basically, you can bring out an instant Gem-Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond or a Gem-Knight Master Diamond, and you get like a Foolish Burial for 3 cards. It's really good. And then also you can discard a spell card, which works really well with Gem-Knight Fusion. You can discard it, get it right back, to return their attack to normal until the end of your opponent's turn. So yeah, there you go. On to the extra deck. Let's go. First off, we have Gem-Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond. I'm going to explain these fusions a bit more. So this one requires 3 Gem-Knight monsters, any 3, so it's pretty good. So must first be fusion summoned with the above materials. I'm pretty sure that's the same for all Gem-Knight, so I'm not even going to bother saying that. For the rest, you can only special summon 1 per turn, which is why we only run 1. This is an OTK version of the deck. Once per turn, you can send 1 Gem-Knight monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Gem-Knight Fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Wow, that is a really good effect in my opinion, because if you, like, use Obsidian as one of its fusion material monsters, like, if you draw this card and you have Obsidian 2 other Gem-Knights in your hand, you have an instant Gem-Knight Lady Brilliant Diamond and any of these other cards. It's super amazing. Next we have 1 Gem-Knight Master Diamond. This one also requires 3 Gem-Knight monsters. This one gains 100 attack for each Gem monster in your graveyard, not just Gem-Knights, so it works with Armadillo. And also, you can banish 1 level 7 or lower Gem-Knight Fusion monster from your graveyard until the end phase. This card's name and original effect become the same as that banished monster. So, I usually use this with Prismaura or Citrine, actually. Yeah, sorry. I usually use it with them because their effects are really good. So, yeah. Next, we have 1 Gem-Knight Zirconia. This is your beater. That's super easy to get out. It's also a normal monster, so that can come into conjunction with some of the card's effects. Next, we have Gem-Knight Prismaura. You can send 1 Gem-Knight card from your hand to your graveyard to light up your graveyard, and also activate Obsidian or Lazuli's effect to target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it. So yeah, that just helps you get over cards. We have 1 Gem-Knight Citrine to stun your opponent when you attack. Super good. We have a Gem-Knight Ruby. Thinking of taking this card out. It's not the best, but it's still pretty good if you're in a tight spot. So basically, you can tribute one face-up gem monster. Its attack, it gains attack equal to that monster's attack, and it inflicts piercing damage. So I guess it's not all that bad. But generally, you want to bring out Citrine instead. Next, we have a Gem-Knight Topaz, another one of the original Gem-Knights. It attacks twice during a battle phase, and when it destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack. So that's also really good. It's basically 3,600 damage if you're OTKing, and it's super valuable. Next, one of the best cards in the deck, Gem-Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli. This card is what you need if your opponent has like some monster with crazy attack and you can't get over it. This is what you need because you can basically burn for days with it. You can inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each special summon monster on the field. And that's like up to 5,000 damage in a single turn, well, if you're lucky. But I have one with this card. It's super useful, and that's why we run 2. It's the only fusion monster we run 2 of, other than Noden, obviously. And lastly, we have one Gem-Knight Seraphinite. It just gives you an extra normal summon, and it's just generally really good. Next, we have 2 Noden, because of the instant fusion, and these 3 Xyzs. You need these 3 Xyzs. If you run any other Xyzs, like if you do not include one of these 3, you suck at life. It's that simple. Castel, just because it helps you get over cards that you need to get over. Chain, just because this gets you out of so many tight spots. It's like, if you don't have a fusion card in your hand that confuse things, you need Chain to dump Gem-Knight Fusion so you can get it back into your hand. Lastly, Emerald, because this deck runs normal monsters, so you can special summon a non-effect monster in your graveyard, or you can just reload your deck with it. So you can include other Xyzs, but these 3 are definitely needed. Well guys, that's it for this deck profile. For the first time, I'm probably going to leave the deck list in the description below. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, as I said before, make sure to leave a like so I can keep on making awesome videos like this. Well guys, that's it for this video, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.